Hello again everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another speed build video in The Sims 4. I hope you're all having the most amazing day ever so far and thank you so much for joining me here today. So we are in Myshuno and we are decorating the 18 Culpepper House apartment block, and we are turning this into a family apartment with 2 bedrooms and 1 bathroom, and we're going for this really cluttered, cozy, family friendly vibe. It feels like it's been such a long time since I've done an apartment like this on the channel. I know I do houses like this on the channel all the time, but specifically apartments. So this was like a breath of fresh air to me while I was doing this. I really love the end result and I cannot wait to show you the rest. So we've already worked out the floor plan. Now we're currently working on the living space here. So as you can see, we do have a fully open plan living, dining and kitchen area, which I think works super well for gameplay, especially when you consider that this is a super cluttered apartment. So typically my apartment speed builds at this speed would be around maybe 12-13 minutes max. This is over 17 minutes long, and I think that just proves how much detail and how much clutter I actually put into this apartment. And I don't know why, I just had it in my head. I was like, okay, I've still got a lot of Halloween and spooky sort of video ideas to put up on the channel. There's a lot going to be happening in the next couple of months. I can't wait to share more with you all. But I was like, I just had this in my head, and I started this last night and finished it up this morning, and it's just been, I don't know, it's just been such a nice cozy time. What can I say? I'd love to play in this apartment myself. It is fully play tested. I like to play test my builds anyway, but when I go super to like town on the clutter, I really like to make sure that the areas are fully play tested, just in case anyone runs into any issues. So I just knocked my microphone then, so I do apologize if you heard anything. I'm so sorry. I'm hoping not. But anyway, yes, I use a lot of items from Growing Together. So as you can see here, we do use the sofa from Growing Together. I have spoken about this on the channel before. This is my favorite rug in this swatch in the entire game. I love it so much. I don't know what it is about it, but I use it an awful lot. But I do use quite a variety of items over a variety of different packs. And let's just talk about this flooring and wall sort of combination. So the flooring, I believe, is from Eco Lifestyle. It's a flooring that I don't use very much. And then this paneling from Base Game, I'm obsessed. I love how this looks. I've never used this in this swatch, I don't believe, and initially I put it on there just as like a little bit of a test because I thought it's going to be too dark anyway, but actually it just adds to that really cozy vibe and I adore how this looks. The only thing that really annoys me about this wall paneling, and before I say it, I already understand that this wall paneling I think is from when the base game was released all those years ago. Like the quality on the actual paint is a bit distorted and a little bit like blurry, but it's a minor thing. It's very, very minor, but yeah, I absolutely adore the colour. I thought it worked so well with the sofa and just everything else. The sort of vibe that I wanted to go for with this was, I didn't necessarily want it to be super matchy, but I also didn't want it to look completely random either. So I think I found this really nice balance between the two. Please let me know if you agree or disagree. But yeah, I feel like I found a really nice balance. I use a lot of clutter items from the Everyday Clutter kit and the Blooming Rooms kit. And yeah, I don't know. I've spoken about this on the channel recently as well. I'm feeling very fussy at the moment with my build. So I'm finding myself placing something down and then moving it to try and adjust it a little bit. And I feel like I'm doing that more and more and more. Like fiddling around with stuff and not being quite happy with the placement and things like that. But I'm hoping that stops sometime soon because it's kind of exhausting. Anyway, we have moved on to the kitchen area here. Obviously it's all open plan, but yes, I used these counters and cabinets from Base Game. I thought they worked really well. I paired them with the tiles on the flooring from High School Years, and then the tiles on the wall are from Parenthood. I do use a lot of items from Parenthood. I'd like to make that disclaimer right now. I do, because obviously I wanted it to be a super family friendly apartment. I wanted it to be really obvious that a family has just completely taken over this space. They're very family oriented. They love spending time together. They almost encourage the kids to sort of leave their toys out because they want to be part of the experience, be more involved with them when they're doing their activities. So I just think it's a really, really cute idea, and I would absolutely love to see any family dynamics that you might move in here. So please feel free to send me screenshots. I've said it before, I always say this in my builds, but sorry, not in my builds, in my videos. I always say this, but I love receiving messages from you all and saying, look, I'm in one of your houses and this is the family that lives here, or like people leave me comments and talk me through the entire family that lives in one of my builds, and it warms my entire heart. So yeah, please feel free to send me some messages. But yes, so cluttering up the kitchen here, I struggle, and I realized this while I was doing the kitchen, I struggle with not decorating kitchens, but cluttering them up to make them look like I don't know how to word this, but like the right amount of clutter on the counters. And I'll tell you someone who does this really, really well, and I'm not just saying it because she's one of my best friends, but it's Miss Myshuno. If you've seen any of her videos, she clutters up kitchens so beautifully. She finds this really right balance of not only items and the item style, but the placement as well. I feel like sometimes with mine, they look a little bit weird and off, but what I did find when I was playtesting this particular build was that my sim was using the island counter to prepare the meal, so everything worked out super well. The only thing that happened while I was playtesting this build is that the cooker caught on fire because my test sim is only level 1 cooking. So the fire brigade came, and I was like, I'm just trying to play test my build here, like, come on. It's just classic Sims, isn't it? Like, I'm just trying to play test a build and my sim sets the kitchen on fire, and then the firemen have to come, and it's like, oh my gosh. Anyway, so I don't think we spent too much longer on the kitchen actually, but one thing I did end up adding in here was a dining room table just behind where the island is, and that was super important to me because I don't even think I've spoken about the family dynamic that I had in mind for this apartment, but I had in mind we've got the 2 parents, we've got twin girls, and then they have the parents have had an infant, so that's 5 Sims. And then I also put a pet bowl in here so they could have a cat or a dog too. So technically there's 6 Sims that live in this apartment, which is kind of cramped. However, that was the sort of vibe that I was going for. I'd really like to do an 8 sim apartment, but try and make it like a tiny apartment, you know, where we've done it before on the channel where we've blocked off half of the unit and then raised a platform, and then we can just work with the remaining space. So that would be kind of a fun challenge. If you want to see that, please let me know. But anyway, I digress. So this is the dining room table that I was referring to earlier. I toy around with the idea of 2 chairs and then a high chair, and then off camera, I believe I switch out the high chair for another chair. So we've actually got 3 chairs at the table and then 2 chairs at the island. So I think that works out quite well, really. And my Sims had no issues getting to any of the chairs. They were able to watch TV, they could prepare the food. The bathroom was a pain to play test because I knew it was quite long and skinny, and I was just trying to clutter it up because that was the vibe of the entire apartment, was just like clutter, clutter, clutter. So the bathroom was no exception. However, when I went to do the bathroom, I did realize that I was like gambling with it a little bit, you know. So when I play tested it, my sim couldn't access the shower because I'd put like the little laundry basket from base game that's just like a decor piece. I'd put that right opposite the sink, so my sim could for some reason wash their hands in the sink, but then they couldn't access the shower even though the laundry basket was like literally right behind the sink. I'll show you what I mean when we get to the bathroom, which I believe is the room that we work on after the hallway, I think. But this is the hallway. I wanted to keep the cluttered vibe going throughout this area of the apartment as well. So usually with my hallways, I'll keep them really quite basic. So I might put like a rug down, maybe a piece of artwork and some wall lights, maybe a mirror, and then I'll just leave it at that. But because of the vibe of the entire apartment, I wanted to cover every single inch in clutter. So this was no exception. I feel like it just adds to the vibe. We've obviously got a bookcase here, which is fully accessible because the bookcase in the girls' room, I don't believe is accessible. It's probably the only part of the apartment that I didn't actually playtest. So I just figured we've got one here, we've got one in the living room, so there's an abundance of books and bookcases for your Sims to access, so I really didn't think it was too much of a big deal. But then I was thinking, oh, what do I put on this left area here, just opposite, can you see the hallway table just to the bottom left there? And then I realized that we had a lot of stuff from Dream Home Decorator that I haven't used for a while, so I pull out some pieces here. There we go. These are completely decorative, but I really like how they look. And then I was trying to figure out which swatch I wanted to use. I wanted to use a super fun swatch, so we ended up going for this one with the little frogs on the side. I'm obsessed. I'm so obsessed with this apartment. I can't even tell you. This is possibly one of my favorite apartments I've ever done, apart from I did like a modern looks apartment. I'll pop a card in the right hand corner for you if you want to check that out, but I did a modern looks apartment and I really liked that too, but it had a completely different vibe. It wasn't like family friendly. It was basically for either a single sim or a couple of sims. It was like a studio apartment, but I love doing all these different family dynamics, and I love hearing all your ideas. So as I was saying before, if you've got any family dynamic ideas in mind, and then just let me know and I can see if there's something that I can build around that. But the hallway is just finishing up here. I'm just, again, fiddling around with some clutter pieces and making sure that I'm fully happy with the end result. And then we move on to the bathroom. I did use this shower bath combination from Parenthood, I think this is from. I just thought it fit the vibe of the entire apartment really well. Again, with the tiles from High School Years and then the wall tiles from Parenthood, because if I'm doing an apartment or a house, what I'll tend to do is I'll tend to use the same tiles from the kitchen in the bathrooms. I don't know why I do that. It's just something that I do. I don't know if anyone else does that. Let me know if you do, or if that's just like a Rachel thing. But yeah, this is the laundry basket. I'm so sorry, that I was referring to here. So for some reason, my sim could wash their hands, but they could not access the shower. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. And then also this little pile of laundry on the floor as well, that was causing some issues. So I believe what I did is just size them down off camera. But anyway, then we very quickly move on to the twin girls' room. I'm going to put a disclaimer out right now. It took me so long to find a bunk bed that I was fully happy with. It really did. And then I ended up landing on a bunk bed from Dream Home Decorator. So Dream Home Decorator came in clutch with this apartment. I'm going to be honest, if I did not have that pack, I don't think I would have liked it as much. I know that probably sounds a little bit weird, but yeah. So this room, I was initially thinking, okay, so we could go for like a dark brown, burnt orange, pink kind of situation. Then I tried this rug here from Growing Together, and I really like how this looks actually looking back. But then I found this wallpaper from the pastel pop kit. I always want to call it the pastel pop kit, but the pastel pop kit. And then I just decided to sort of create the entire room around this wallpaper. So this is when I pull out the bunk bed from Dream Home Decorator. I just think it's so cute and it looks absolutely gorgeous. Looking back now, I probably could have put carpet in here instead of the dark wood flooring. But then I'm thinking, okay, well, that wouldn't be super realistic necessarily, because I don't think the family necessarily own this apartment. I think they probably rent it. And I feel like the wooden flooring is probably just going to be the same throughout the entire house, just because it's a kid's room. I can't imagine why they would put like carpet in there, you know? So that's the reason I kept the same wooden flooring throughout, just to add that like touch of realism to the build. But yeah, once I found out the color scheme was going to be like orange, pink, and like that, like this teal blue color, I just decided to filter the items by those colors, specifically orange and pink. I don't think I actually included the turquoise, but you can just see pops of turquoise coming in here in the chair, and then the slight wall decor pieces too. So I wanted it to be quite subtle, because the turquoise isn't particularly like obvious on the bed sheets, but I wanted there to be an element of that in there. So I absolutely adored decorating this bedroom. I had such a blast. I used this, I'm not even sure where this desk is from. It looks to me like it could be from Nifty Knitting or possibly Growing Together. I'm not entirely sure, because it's not one that I've ever used before. And when I'm choosing items and picking items out, I don't necessarily pay attention to which pack they're from unless I already know which pack they're from, if that makes sense. Anyway, yeah, just adding some more clutter pieces here, again keeping with the pink and orange theme. I'm just so happy with this apartment. I really am. I hope you all are as well, because I'm hoping someone, at least one person, has a use for this. One person. But I really had like a good time decorating it, so either way it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Anyway, just adding some finishing touches to this room. There's a lot of rugs in this room. Looking back, maybe I was trying to disguise the floor or something. I've no idea. But let's go with that, because I just wouldn't, it wouldn't surprise me with myself that like that's what I was doing. But yeah, trying to like layer up the rugs as well to try and make them look, I don't know, kind of like cute, and again, a little bit more realistic, a little bit messier. And then I just pull out my favourite clutter piece, one of my favourite clutter pieces for kids of all time from the high school years pack, with like the bag and then like the sunglasses and the trainers and like the t-shirts just everywhere. Adore it. And then we do have a laundry basket in here with like a pile of laundry on top, because I just love that. And then we move on to the final room, which is the parents' bedroom. I wanted to keep this room relatively calm compared to the rest of the apartment. Perhaps if the parents are finding it a little bit too much, they can just come in here and be like, let's decompress, let's take a second. But yeah, this is where the infant is at the moment, so perhaps there's a number of things that you could do with this apartment. You could keep them in here while they're a toddler, then you could pop them in the girls' room there, because the room's big enough, so if you needed to put another bed in there, then you absolutely could, and just have all 3 kids in there. You could do a number of things, but that's potentially what I would do. So yeah, I'm absolutely obsessed with this room. I love when I add like an infant like bed or a cot. I'll often make the space really cute, so I'll put some wall decor pieces, I'll add like the handprints from Growing Together and stuff like that, just to make the space kind of more inclusive for the infant. But that is pretty much it for this build and this video, so I really hope you enjoyed this. But if you would like to download this apartment from the gallery, it's available right now. My origin ID is RachelPedd. Tray files, as always, will be linked down in the description box just down below. You can get them for free from Sim File Share. But thank you so much everyone for joining me here today. I really appreciate every single one of you. You all take care, and I will see you next time I post a video. Bye!